SLPA who makes videos for other SLPAs. From time to time, I do share speech content for my moms out there as well, because I'm a mom myself. Today's video is actually all about why and sort of how I became to be an SLPA. Now, I just want to quickly say I started off becoming or wanting to be an SLPA because I chose to study communication sciences and disorders because I knew I wanted to do something where I was genuinely happy in my job. I had heard and seen so many people when I was younger very unhappy in their career choice or unhappy in the jobs that they had to go to every single day and wake up and make a living, right? So that's something that I kind of decided really early on. I did not want to be that person. I know that's a very big decision to make when you are 18, 17 years old. Coming out of high school, I completely get that it's a huge decision. I look back now and I consider myself to be extremely lucky to have found something that I'm genuinely passionate about, something I really enjoy doing, and something that does not feel like a job, because that was my ultimate goal. How I came across this job title was because I remember looking online truly for all the jobs that were out there. Again, because it's such a tough decision when you are 17, 18 years old, you know, you have to make a decision that's gonna very much determine the rest of your life. I went online and just did like a job search of kind of jobs that paid the most, because that's what I wanted to do when I was younger. I wanted something that would pay me a lot of money. I remember seeing that SLPs, speech language pathologists, got around 60, 75,000 a year. And you know, at 18 years old, I was like, that's a lot of money. I immediately saw also that being a speech language pathologist would require a master's degree. And I remember when I asked my mom, she was like, well, that's just 2 more years after you finish a bachelor's degree. So I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound too bad. I saw that it didn't need or didn't have a math requirement. And I didn't want to do much math after high school, because I remember I did a lot of math in high school. I was like AP, I was honors, all that other stuff. So I didn't want to do too much of that in college because I had heard kind of stories how hard it was. And once I knew that there was no math or very little math required, I knew it paid a pretty good amount. I thought 60 to 75,000 would be a lot. I saw that it required a master's degree, which I was like, I'm down for that. You know, just 2 years after a bachelor's degree doesn't sound too bad. I kind of narrowed it down to really just that. I just had to kind of hope and pray that the school I wanted to go to, which was UT Austin, would offer a major in that. It was either there or UTSA, UT San Antonio. And UT San Antonio did not offer communication sciences and disorders, but UT Austin did. Now the fun part was when I got to college, when I actually started studying, because I remember that intro to communication sciences and disorders course, you learn a lot, right? You learn a lot of general information. I remember even thinking or considering going into audiology because that was also super interesting. I really liked it, and I feel like I resonated with it because I also went to speech therapy. I couldn't tell you if it was 3rd grade or 4th grade or 5th grade or all 3 years, but I remember I got pulled out to play games, and that's really all that I remember. I don't ever remember the lady telling me that I had to work on stuttering or that I had to change my voice or I had to speak to my peers in a certain way. It was never that I felt out of it. I never felt different than the person next to me. Does that make sense? I remember playing games and just having fun. I never even knew that it was speech therapy. So once I saw that this was a career path, a possible way to make a living, I immediately jumped back to my speech therapy sessions and how I felt as a student. And that stuck with me all of my years of college, because at that point I was kind of like, if I can make this impact on another child, on another kid, then why not, right? Like, if I can build this confidence in somebody and have them play games and not even have them realize that they're really doing speech therapy, that's great. I feel like that's a very rewarding career. I kind of got off track there, but like I said, the fun part was when I did start going to college, and when I was learning these things, I kept going back to, oh, this is what I did in speech therapy. Oh, this is why I kept playing games. This is why I had to practice this a certain way. It was all kind of clicking. Another key thing I definitely need to mention, and I have a whole entire video on this, is getting experience. I remember my first year, I had a very smart professor. I mean, they're all smart, right? But I had a professor that made an impact in my life. And he really instilled in freshmen that you need to get a lot of practice. You need to see if this is a career for you sooner than later. And that also really resonated with me. So immediately, once he kind of instilled that in my brain, I tried to get as many volunteer hours as I could. I tried to get jobs in the speech field. I tried to get a lot of experience while I was still in college, because it did click in my head, hey, if this is not for me, I need to see this now. If this is not something I want to do, I need to realize now. So I actually did Austin Speech Labs in Austin, Texas, and that was with adults. That was my very first volunteer sort of thing. And at that point, I realized, oh, I can work with adults. I don't only have to work with kids. And back then, I did not want to work with kids. I thought kids were annoying. I thought kids would just spread germs. I thought kids were going to be all about behavior. So I really was gearing towards working with adults. So the fact that I could get some experience in the door, like right away, that was super exciting. So I did that for one semester, and then kind of realized, well, I got to get more experience working with kids and see if that's something I want to do. And luckily, I was able to find jobs that weren't exactly speech related, but it had to do with kids and it had to do with language and reading. It was almost like a reading tutor. So that was also very impactful, because there I learned that I did want to work with students. I got to work with specifically kids with autism, and that was very eye-opening. It was a big way to link what I was learning in class into the real world. And you know, at 20 years old, it was a big thing that I was like, wow, I can make a big difference in a lot of children's lives and in families' lives. Because you find a lot of families coming to you for advice, obviously, as the tutor or the therapist. Like, they're coming to you with the questions because they know you're the one with the knowledge. So I felt like I had a lot, I almost felt like I had a duty. Does that make sense? I had this calling, I almost want to say, like this calling to really feed into, and I had to provide this knowledge for families. It was like I was meant to finish this. I'm getting a little bit emotional, but I really do think once I started getting this experience, it was so clear to me, like, this is what you are meant to do. This is what you are called to do. So I felt like it was my thing to finish a 4-year degree and to immediately jump into this field. That my last experience was there on the UT campus, and that was working in the Stuttering Institute, and that was also so life-changing. Like, you're working one-on-one with the parents, and you're working with the child, and you're fitting all of this work on top of your schoolwork, right? Like, I made it happen. I made it work. It wasn't like, it's just a grade, I'll settle for a C. No, like, at this point, you're working with families, and with the kid, it's like, you have to do this, you know, you have to impact their lives just as much as they have impact yours. You have to make a difference, and you have to help them get better, essentially. So that was my experience in college, and I can very much tell you, from the moment I started learning about speech therapy, about communication disorders, about language and in the brain and all this, it made sense to me, and it was like, definitely, there's no doubt that this is what I'm going to do. And I want to keep reiterating how lucky I was, because there are people, believe me, that can go, you know, to one volunteer experience and see, whoa, this is completely different than what I imagined. Or, oh, this is definitely not for me. I don't like this experience. And then you have to change your major. Or there's people that finish, you know, and don't get experience until after they graduate. But I'm very, very fortunate to have gotten these experiences while I was in my undergrad career. And, it just worked out for me. Now, I'm realizing this as I'm sitting here in front of the camera and saying this, and when I kind of got emotional, like, SLPA, to become an SLP assistant was nowhere in my plan, yet here I am, you know, sharing this with other people, with anyone that I can through YouTube. Like, this platform has given me such a rewarding experience in becoming an SLPA, because I remember when I finished my undergrad, you know, career, when I finished and when I got my degree from UT, it was like, what am I supposed to do now? You know, and no one guided me in becoming an SLPA. No one was there to help or answer any questions around how do I get my license. Like, that's something I really had to just Google and learn on my own. I'm getting all over the place, but when I didn't get into graduate school, that was the big slap in the face, and that was a big realization in my mind. Like, school has given me so much knowledge, yet they can't help me become an SLPA, or yet they can't help me, you know, guide me into becoming an assistant. So that was a big bummer, but I was able to get my license, and I was able to get a lot of my hours through UT Austin, so I'm very grateful for that as well. Now, once I became an SLPA, it was never another thought in my mind that came into, okay, now you need to continue for your master's degree, now you need to be an SLP. It was more like, now I'm an SLPA, how am I gonna make the most out of it? For me, I always knew my end goal was to be out of school again, because I was a student who received speech therapy in the school setting. So I wanted to kind of give back and do the exact same thing for students. And luckily, once again, here I am working in a school setting, and I'm able to do that for my students. And it's so rewarding, seriously, sitting here and like telling you all this, because I truly believe this is my passion. You know, I was called to do this, and there's just no doubt in my mind, like, this was the career for me. It is such an honor, you know, to get to share this and have built somewhat of a community on YouTube for this. It brings such joy to me to sit here and say all this. Like, I honestly I knew I wasn't gonna cry in this video. I didn't even know I would get this emotional. But the fact that I get to sit there and be somewhat of a teacher and give this sense of confidence to children and really help them speak, get their basic needs, their wants met, and help them in every way possible, it is so rewarding. So that is how I came to be an SLPA. I hope you all did learn something about me. I hope you all liked this video as well. If you did, please make sure to give my video a like and subscribe to my channel, as it'll mean so much to me. And I will catch you all in my next one. Bye.